Boy Scout Troop 88 will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
Please join me in the presentation of the American flag. Color guard, post. Color guard, present colors. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2. Color guard, cover.
Thank you all. Y'all may be seated.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the July 17th, 2014 Blount County Board of Commissioners meeting. If you'd please give your attention to the evacuation procedures.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
The commission will come to order. Please register your presence by voting yes.
You have 20 present, 1 absent. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The chair will now stand for a motion to set the agenda. Commissioner French, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I request that we pull item E1 and 2 from the agenda.
The motion is to set the agenda, deleting items E1 and E2. Is there a second? Motion made by Commissioner French, seconded by Commissioner Wright to set the agenda as published, removing items E1 and E2. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to set the agenda. Vote no not to set.
You have 20 yeses.
20 yes, 1 absent. The agenda is set. The next item is agenda item B. Mr. Commissioner French made the motion to set the agenda, deleting items E1 and E2, seconded by Commissioner Wright. Is there a challenge to the vote? Hearing none. The next item of business is item B, the consent calendar. The chair will stand for a motion to approve the consent calendar. Commissioner Samples moves. Second. Commissioner Carver seconds. The motion is to approve the consent calendar. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the consent calendar. Vote no not to approve. fellow Commissioner Hasty. Mr. Hay, okay.
You have 20 yeses.
20 yes, 1 absent. The consent calendar is approved. At this time, I would like to recognize Mayor Mitchell, Commissioners Birchfield, Kirby, and Gamble of the Agriculture Committee, also Commissioner Samples and Commissioner Kaler. They please come forward for a presentation.
John, would you come up, please? Susan, would you like to come up with him? It gives me great pleasure to read this proclamation and issue this proclamation tonight. Whereas in 1964, upon graduation from the University of Tennessee, John Keller returned home to farm with his father, the late Earl Keller. With a vision for improving the farming enterprises, John began to take over the day-to-day management of Kelmont Farms. Whereas in 1966, John, along with his new bride Susan, and mentors Earl Keller and father-in-law Ivan Hitch, began the expansion of Kelmont Farms through additional enterprises and later additional acreage. And whereas John Keller has been an ardent supporter and demonstrator of farm conservation practices throughout the implementation and recommended tillage practices since 1966, and that same year was one of the first to raise no-till soybeans in Tennessee, and in 1980 was the recipient of the Conservation Farmer of the Year Award presented by the Blount County Soil Conservation District. And whereas Mr. Keller has served the local Blount County agricultural community through his service as a board member and officer of the Blount County Farm Bureau member since 1966, Foothills Farmers Cooperative, Blount County Livestock Association, and as a volunteer supporter of the Blount County 4-H. And whereas on the state and national level, John Keller has been actively engaged in the Tennessee Farm Bureau Federation, Tennessee Soybean Association, Tennessee Cattlemen's Association, University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture, Southern Soybean Research Program, and many other producers-related organizations. And while serving as a member and/or director, improved the quality of life for his fellow farmers, as well as the general improvement of the agriculture industry. Whereas, more recently in 2014, he was named the Tennessee Farmer of the Year by the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture. And in this capacity, Mr. Keller will represent Tennessee at the Swisher Sweets Sunbelt Expo Southeastern Farmer of the Year competition at the Sunbelt Expo in Moultrie, Georgia during the October of this year. And whereas Mr. John Keller, along with his family, celebrates 50 years of the Kelmont Farms and their achievements as a family farm in Blount County. Now therefore be it proclaimed by Ed Mitchell, Mayor of Blount County, Tennessee, and the Blount County Board of Commissioners, meeting in regular session on this 17th day of July 2014, that the service of John Keller to our agricultural community is sincerely appreciated and is hereby recognized, and all citizens of Blount County are encouraged to join with us in honoring him and congratulating him for his many achievements. Thank you, John.
How nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all want to say, you want to say something? You sure? I have a first-hand knowledge of everything that John's done as long as I've been alive, because our farms join, and they have for a long time, for a lot longer than you and I have been around, haven't they, John?
You know part of the Metro Farm is part of our farm now. We bought part of it.
Yeah. So I grew up watching John Keller farm and admiring him. Thank you all very much.
Now move to item C on the agenda. Public input on items on the agenda. If you'll come forward and introduce yourself, please, and the item on the agenda of which you'll be giving comment.
Thank you. I'm Linda King, District 4, Citizens for Blount County's Future, speaking about the new payroll system. You're about to vote on outsourcing a department with very little information. You chose the highest bid of several companies interviewed. You've taken their word for it that in 5 years' worth of cost saving, their payroll system will pay for itself and even start to save us money. However, their cost-saving explanations are very sketchy, if not totally unsubstantiated. In private industry, when a company plans to outsource, it means that a department is no longer required. However, when asked about the intention of Blount County's government to save money by eliminating in-house jobs, the subject was more or less ignored, and the idea of cutting positions was far from being discussed. Do we plan to have the same number of employees paid by the taxpayers while their responsibilities are outsourced? Will we still have open access to payroll information when it is being prepared by an outside firm? The mayor assured me that the payroll records would be available for public scrutiny. But in lieu of several untruths that have been told lately, I believe this should be a major concern to you. I'm not against new technology, and we have a good IT manager, but there's still uncertainty about how this system will be controlled. Before you vote to spend taxpayer monies, lots of questions should be asked and lots of answers provided. Thank you.
You have presentations being made, and you have publications being made, sir. So, sure. Yes, sir. May I leave that there? Thank you.
I'd like to make a statement. As a point of order, I've got the bids right here that were given me. It's not, we didn't accept the highest bid. I just like to.
Resolution number 1407004 to amend the general purpose school fund budget for $47,531.
I don't think we have a proper conduction of the item, the public input of items on the agenda. I know that we got sidetracked with one speaker, but I still think there might be other people in the audience that like to speak.
Speaking on the items on the agenda, is that correct? Come forward, introduce yourself, sir. Second row. I saw no hands, Commissioner. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name's Dick Scott. I live at 3860 Atlee Drive in Louisville. And my phone number is 980-1901 in case anybody wants to voice their opinion to me personally.
Mr. Scott, if you can, which item on the agenda are you going to do after and comment?
You know, I rise to speak in favor of the new bookkeeping system. it doesn't take a brain surgeon to know that as time goes by, you have to modernize in this world. Technology and so forth. Okay, I am aware that this, I guess, committee has spent 9 months on this project, evaluating all of the bidders, and have determined that this is the best for Blount County. I also understand, and I'll stand to be corrected, but all the department heads are also in favor of this motion in hiring this firm. There is a difference between price and quality and short-term versus long-term costs. I have the opinion that the majority of the citizens of Blount County would like to see this commission continue to modernize, update, make your best decisions over the long term, not the short term, on the expenditures of the funds and the taxpayers' money. I believe this is a good move for this county, and I support it 100%. And I hope this commission will do as well. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Seeing no hands, we'll move to the next item of business, F1A. The chair will stand for motion on item F1A, Resolution 1407-004 to amend the general purpose school fund budget by $47,531. Commissioner Helton moves. Is there a second? Commissioner Carver. The motion is to adopt Resolution 1407-004. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 20 yeses.
20 yes, 1 absent. The resolution is adopted. Next item of business is F1B. Chair will stand for motion on item F1B, Resolution 1407-005 to amend the school's capital projects fund budget by $177,045. Commissioner Samples moves. Commissioner French seconds. Motion is to adopt Resolution 1407-005. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no not to adopt.
You have 20 yeses and 1 absent.
20 yes, 1 absent. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F1C. Chair will stand for a motion on item F1C, Resolution 1407-006 to amend the general county fund budget by $1,361,506. Commissioner Lewis moves. Commissioner Kirby seconds. Commissioner French, if you would like to have the floor now, it'd be in order on this item. Public input, sir.
Thank you. According to the paper that I have received from the committee that overlooked the RFP, I'd like to clarify one thing. The recommendation from that committee is not the highest bid we received. I just want that information made known. Bottom line. Thank you.
Are the members ready for the question? Commissioner Folks, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This payroll HR project may well be needed. However, we need to understand that this is a huge increase in our information technology spending. Our IT budget has been running around $550,000 a year. Averaged over 5 years, this project will add another $450,000.
Commissioner Folks, I hate to interrupt you, sir, and I'll allow you to start over. Commissioner Birchfield will need to be in order. Commissioner Folks, you're recognized. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I was saying, the IT budget has been running around $550,000 a year for the county. Averaged over 5 years, this project will add another $450,000 a year, or 82% to that spending. It's also a very large IT project, and one only has to watch the news to learn how quickly large IT projects in government spin out of control and cost not just 20% more, they can cost double, triple what the original estimates were. Mr. Chairman, can you have some order here? We got all kinds of motion in the audience.
Thank you, sir. Continue.
Large IT projects like this are best approached very carefully, lest taxpayer money be thrown into a big hole in the ground. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to question someone who can explain the annual savings chart associated with this project that we were given.
Ask your question, sir.
Well, the first question is, the chart says that we expect to save $209,560. Pretty accurate for a forecast. Per year from what is called pay inflation and gaming. I want to know exactly what that is, and then I have some other follow-up questions.
Mr. Vineyard, would you answer that, or would Mr. Rayner like to answer that? If you'll come forward to the microphone, sir, and identify yourself, and I'll recognize you.
I'm Bill Ronner.
Well, come to the microphone. Thank you.
I'm Bill Ronner on the payroll project team, and I'd like to have David Herndon from Courthouse answer that question, and I'll provide him with the chart that I believe Mr. Foltz is referring to.
Okay.
I think he's best positioned because much of the analysis was offered by Courthouse.
All right. Thank you. If you'll come forward, sir, and identify yourself.
Good evening. I'm David Herndon. I'm with Courthouse.
If you'll go ahead and answer the question, sir, you're recognized.
Yep. The question is, what is payroll inflation in gaming? Is that the question?
That's one of the questions, yes, sir.
Yeah. So payroll inflation is when employees are working when they're not supposed to be working, yet on their timesheets or whether it's their leave records or timesheets, it actually records that they are working. So you actually have payroll inflation because the county is incurring a payroll expense when a staff member is not necessarily working. That's one item. And gaming the system could be, I'm coming in off schedule, I'm getting unauthorized overtime. If there are rounding rules within a department that says, if I get here at 7 after, it rounds back up at the top of the hour, employees can play those rules, and even just a 10 or 15-minute play once a week can add up to thousands of hours across the county for gaming the system. And all that is costing taxpayers money.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Folks, you're recognized.
First of all, everybody should know who you are. You're the Courthouse.
He stated who he was, sir.
He's the Courthouse salesman, Mr. Chairman, and I'd like that to be clear to everyone. They're the people that are. He's the guy that's trying to get this.
Sir, if you'll sit down, please. Thank you.
Get this sale. Payroll inflation in gaming is people claiming to have worked hours that they didn't. It's basically fraud. And you would have us believe that our hourly people, because this doesn't apply to our salaried people, you would have us believe that our hourly people are indulging in this kind of fraud to the tune of $209,560 a year. And you say this is a percent of HPR is how you come up with this number. What is HPR? Hourly payroll.
Mr. Reiner, if you'll come forward, I'll recognize you for the answer, sir. Please direct your questions to the chair, Mr. Phillips.
Bill
You're
Reiner.
recognized.
Thank you. HPR stands for hourly payroll.
Okay, and this is Kronos's estimate.
You're not recognized. Is that a question?
Yes.
Mr. Folks? Mr. Reiner, you're recognized.
Okay. Yes, based on third-party analysis using Kronos information and actual customer information.
Does the county have any data that shows this is actually happening? Have we done any audits? Have we caught any people doing this? Or are we just kind of assuming
Is that a question, sir?
that our people are somehow this dishonest?
I don't have any actual data.
You're recognized.
And it's our hourly people we're talking about because none of this stuff applies to the salaried people.
I have no actual data that Blount County employees are gaming the system and cheating Blount County. The estimate of cost savings in this category is based on third-party analysis of Kronos customers before and after the implementation of the Kronos system.
Okay, you've answered my question. The county has no reason and no data to show that this is actually happening. So one has to wonder about that estimate of savings. Let's go to the next item. It says that we're going to save $381,892 a year from accrued leave inflation. Same question. What is accrued leave inflation?
Mr. Vineyard, would you like to answer that, or will you defer to the leader of the process team? Mr. Rainer, you're recognized.
I'd like for Mr. Herndon from Kronos to answer that question.
Come forward, sir.
Accrued leave inflation occurs, especially for your exempt employee population, when leave is taken but it's not reported. When you have a large number of staff that are working across the county, in the schools, in the road department, wherever, you don't always have visibility to where that staff is. These numbers and projections actually come from independent analyst studies, not just of Kronos clients, but of all types of organizations, including government entities. The reason it's important for government entities is oftentimes leave inflation can impact pension payouts. So in government, visibility to leave inflation is very important. The statistics show that on average, people who use paper-based leave reporting systems, employees take, and it's not necessarily being dishonest, but employees generally take about 10 hours per year of leave that's not reported to HR. So therefore, leave is inflated by generally an average of about 10 hours per employee per year. That doesn't sound like very much, but 10 hours times 3,000 or 2,800 employees in the county actually adds up to quite a large number.
Well, let's explore that a little more. With your indulgence, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to follow up with some more questions. And we can have the same fellow answer here.
Ask questions.
Okay, so accrued leave inflation is somebody claiming that they're working when they're really on vacation. And this is more of a problem you would have us believe with our salaried staff. Again, does the county have any data at all to lead us to believe that this is really happening, that our people are dishonest in this way? Well, I'd gather from the silence that we don't. Okay. If the county, just in these two items, is losing more than $600,000 a year from this kind of fraud, why aren't we conducting an investigation so we can send these wrongdoers to jail? And I, for one, don't believe that our people are that kind of people. And I fail to see how this system prevents this kind of stuff. Right now, you fill out a timesheet. And if you add a couple, if you take a couple hours off and you don't put that on your timesheet, it has to be signed by your supervisor. Now, if it's happening, how is your system going to prevent that? Your system basically does the same thing electronically. Somebody enters their time in the terminal, and then their supervisor gets to approve it. Same thing. Just because you put it on a computer doesn't solve any problems. None. Now, as I said, we may need some of this automation, but we ought to know whether it's really going to save us money or not and what it's really going to cost. The chart shows $69,408 in overtime reduction. Now, we went over this at the Agenda Committee meeting, and that supposedly is from people claiming to have worked overtime who didn't. Well, right now, people fill out timesheets. And if they worked overtime, it goes on the timesheet and it goes to their supervisor. All the computer does is automate that. And it goes to the supervisor for approval electronically. So I fail to see how this savings comes about just because we put a computer in. We show $488,980 in savings from administrative hours reduction. At the Agenda Committee, we were told that this equates to 10 people, more than 10 people, almost 11. Does anybody have a list, and I'll take an answer from anybody, Mr. Chairman. Does anybody have a list of the departments who are going to reduce their head count when this system is up and running? Anybody? I'll take any answer on that.
If you'll come forward, sir. Mr. Reiner, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to attempt to answer that question, Mr. Foltz. To answer that last question specifically, there is no list of positions or employees whose job will be eliminated. These are potential savings. It's the task force, the project team's responsibility to identify, evaluate, and present the cost-saving opportunities and the cost of the project to this body. It is this body's responsibility and management's responsibility to decide whether to leverage any of those opportunities. This particular line item would, to realize those savings, and you asked me this question last time, that particular line item would involve, to realize these savings, hard dollar savings, the not backfilling certain positions in the county as they come open. I'm not aware of anybody contemplating the elimination of positions or the termination of any employees in that regard. But the analysis showed that we had the equivalent of almost 11 full-time employees performing manual tasks that will be automated by the system.
Well, we were told that there were 3 people that are going to retire soon, and it was urgent to move on this because those 3 people are so key that we might not be able to get our payroll out, et cetera. Are those three people going to be replaced? Is there any commitment not to replace any of these people that are retiring?
I want to recognize Mr. Vineyard on that question.
I can only address the 2 of those 3 that work for me. One of those positions is advertised right now because both my individuals will be leaving employment with the county after a long service time, September 1. No one in their right mind can expect this system to be installed in 2 months, so I've got to have somebody here to continue the oversight responsibility that we have now.
Well, if these people are going to be replaced September 1, I fail to see the justification for what we were told in the agenda committee meeting, but I'll not get off on that. So we have no commitment from any department to reduce any people at any time. That's the bottom line here. Yet we're showing 488,000 of, and I'll use Bill's word there, potential savings. Using Kronos's estimates of savings is a little like buying a new car on the salesman's claims that you will get 90 miles per gallon and have no maintenance for 10 years. Without hard county data and no real commitment to reduce personnel, most of these savings numbers are at best fantasy. I got some other questions. Where is the nearest Kronos support location? The people that are going to help put this in, where are they coming from?
You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our implementers are all over the country. Some could be local, some could be from Atlanta, some could be from California. But the implementers actually come from around the country based on assignment and when the project starts and things like that.
Where's your nearest Kronos office?
Our nearest Kronos office is in Atlanta, sir.
Atlanta. So the closest they could be coming from is Atlanta. Are we paying for their transportation and their living?
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized on that question. That's a question. Do we have a contract?
We have not negotiated any contract. It'd be preliminary and presumptuous to do that until this body acts.
So this question's not in order. Don't.
Well,
Continue, Mr. Folks.
I disagree. It's very much in order because we're signing a blank check otherwise, and I don't like signing blank checks. Do we have a detailed specification of exactly what we expect this system to do for us?
Mr. Randall, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. Falls, we do not have a detailed specification of this system. If we were asking Kronos to develop custom software for us, we would develop a detailed specification as part of the RFP process. If we were asking them to customize or modify existing software, we would have written the specifications at that point in time. We're buying off-the-shelf software and buying implementation services, and the specifications will be developed as part of the contract negotiations. We will not sign a contract with Kronos until we are completely satisfied. They know what we need. We know that they can deliver it.
Well, my experience with off-the-shelf software is that, yeah, it's off the shelf, but it has thousands of options. And someone has to set all those options and know how to set all those options and make all those modules play together. And you better have a picture of what you're aiming for. You better have a specification of what you're aiming for, or you'll never know when you're done, and you never get done, and that's how these projects spin out of control. It's a little like for anyone who's tried to install a printer on their personal computer or attach their personal computer to a network, and you spend hours and you can't make it work. And then you find someone who knows something, and they take you down into the bowels of Windows someplace and tell you to set this option, and this option, and voila, it all works. Well, multiply that by 5,000, and that's the kind of problem that comes with a system like we're buying. That's what it takes to get it running. And if you don't have some idea of what options you're going to use and what it's going to look like when you're done before you start, you're going to waste a lot of money. Okay, so people are coming from Atlanta. We don't have a detailed specification. How about a schedule, a detailed schedule? Do we have a detailed schedule for the implementation of this system?
Mr. Reiner, you recognize.
Thank you. We had a proposed schedule that is no longer valid because we didn't get started when we hoped to get started or get the funding when we hoped to get the funding. We had a proposed schedule, and it needs to be revised if this project is approved.
The schedule that was sent to me had 4 items on it. Do you have more detail than that?
Mr. Reiner, you recognize.
I do not. I asked Kronos for a high-level project plan for our project, and that's what they delivered.
A project like this has hundreds of activities that have to be carefully coordinated, and we don't have a schedule.
Mr. Reiner, you're right.
Thank you.
Is that a question, Mr. Fogarty?
No, I've already established the answer. We don't have a schedule. Who will manage the implementation of this project for the county? Who? I mean, when this project starts, who are we going to look to as the guy who's honchoing this project for the county?
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized.
Final determination has not been made, but we've had great success to this point with the structure that we've implemented, with Mr. Honor leading the charge, and we have an able number of professionals in county government that have participated on the task force to this point. I would expect that to continue, and it would probably be expanded because, as you point out, there will be numerous tasks that everyone will be involved in, and a report up of all those tasks.
A committee does not run a project like this successfully. So the question stands, who's going to run it? Bill is a volunteer. He doesn't even work for the county. So I interpret the silence to mean we haven't even identified who's going to run the project. Let me go up to a higher level. What department is going to be responsible for the successful expenditure of $2 million of the taxpayers' money? What department is going to be responsible? If we can't name a person, maybe we can name a department.
Mr. Vineyard, you're recognized.
I can assure you I'm more than willing to accept the responsibility on the financial side.
Okay, there's an HR component to this. Okay, a lot of silence there too. Both those departments, though, report to the mayor. So I'll ask the mayor, do you accept ultimate responsibility for the successful implementation of this project? Does the buck stop with you?
Mr. Mayor, you're recognized.
Yes.
Okay, we found somebody.
Commission will be in order. Mr. Folks.
No spec, no schedule, no project manager. A better approach to this effort would be to break it into chunks that would not disrupt huge portions of the existing county IT system. For example, our initial focus could be the purchase and installation of the HR portion of the system. This will give, if we did that and that alone initially, it would give us a chance to learn the software, build relationships with the vendor personnel, perfect our own project management skills before we begin the much larger and more potentially more disruptive payroll portion of the system. Anyone who reads the papers knows that large government IT projects often spin out of control, costing the taxpayers many times the original estimates. A conservative approach, starting with just the HR system, might give us a much better chance of success. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Lambert, you recognize.
I call for the previous question, Mr. Chairman.
Previous question's been moved. Is there a second? Do I hear Commissioner Kirby's second? Pending motion. Let's call for the previous question. Vote yes to end discussion. Vote no, not to end discussion.
You have 15 yeses and 5 noes.
15 yes, 5 no, 1 absent. The motion to move the previous question is carried. Vote yes. The pending motion is to adopt Resolution 1407-006. Vote yes to adopt the resolution. Vote no, not to adopt the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to offer an amendment.
Not in order. Previous question's been moved. We're voting to adopt the resolution 1407-006. Vote yes to adopt. Vote no, not to adopt.
You have 16 yeses, 3 noes, 1 abstain, and 1 absent.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The resolution is adopted. The next item of business is F2A. The chair will stand for a motion on item F2A. A request to approve the grant application for the Tennessee Certified Drug Court Program grant. I heard Ms. Lambert move. I heard Commissioner Kaler second. The motion is to approve a grant application for the Tennessee Certified Court Program. Are the members, Mr. Wright, are you seek the floor?
I do not.
Members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the application. Vote no, not to approve.
You have 20 yeses.
20 yes, 0 no, 1 absent. The request is approved. Item F2B, the chair will stand for a motion on item F2B. A request to approve the grant application for the Blount County Sheriff's 2014-15 JAG local solicitation in the amount of $20,209. Commissioner Hasty moves. Commissioner Kaler seconds. The motion is to approve the grant application. Are the members ready for the question? Vote yes to approve the grant application. Vote no, not to approve.
You have 20 yeses.
20 yes, 1 absent. The request is approved. The next item of business is item G, announcements and statements. Seeing no hands, we'll move to the next item of business on the agenda, item H, input on items not on the agenda. You'll come forward, sir. I'll recognize this gentleman first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Harry Groth, John, 9th District, Hawk Hill Road. I was asking the Lord where I should get an appropriate award for someone who I greatly respect. And on the wall in the room where I was standing was this quote from Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. But they shall wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So the soaring eagle is a concept that is sometimes associated with a tasteless joke as to one who works with turkeys. But I find that in the chapter 5 of 2 Peter, the first 11 verses, the elders, which we exhorted were by Peter, were to feed the flock which God is among, taking the oversight thereof and not constraint, but willingly and not filthily with filthy lucre, but with a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves to the older. Yea, all of you be subject to one another, and be clothed with humility, for God resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, with the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time. There's only one individual that his service has honored the word of the Lord in his reverence to his call and serving the righteous need of people in Blount County to be represented by integrity and honor. Commissioner Jim Foltz, I thank you.
I'm Linda King with Citizens for Blount County's Future, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank a man who has contributed so much to our community, who has put in many hours of hard work behind the scenes, preparing for meetings by studying informational packets and providing true facts and figures, and has done his best to wake up Blount County. Commissioner Jim Foltz has proven to be a common sense leader we can trust, someone who has represented all the citizens, including us proud naysayers. We will truly miss your input on this commission, Jim. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. My name is Barney Lowe. I live at 408 Low Lane, Maryville, Tennessee, District 5. member of Citizens for Blount County's Future. Mr. Jim Foach took the oath of office as a Blount County Commissioner on September the 1st, 2010. Tonight, 17th July 14th, I want to commend him for the outstanding service he has given the citizens of Blount County the past 4 years. He is the definition of what a commissioner is. Mr. Foach has my vote as the best Blount County has ever known. No one worked harder, been appreciated less by his counterparts that sat on this commission with him, or treated their fellow commissioners with such disrespect as this government and this body of commissioners. Mr. Foach, you have my respect, and I hope you remain in some capacity of government to help make Blount County a greater place to live. If all citizens were inclined to follow leadership such as yours, what a wonderful county we would live in. God bless you and your fine family, and I wish you well. And I myself would like to say I'm very sorry for all the disrespect you had to endure for 4 years as a commissioner for Blount County. What a loss we citizens are going to suffer. A friend.
I'm Susie Myers Bowman, 70-year-old native of Townsend, Tennessee, 44-year resident of the same address in District 2 of Alcoa. Many native Blount Countyans, as well as the transplants mentioned in the mayor's article July 4th in the Daily Times, are indeed awakening to the travesties perpetrated against Blount County taxpayers. The mayor attacked newcomers. Mayor, don't you understand many of those newcomers come here and buy houses, providing badly needed work for our unemployed construction workers? Several of my relatives make their living in construction. They were born here. They like newcomers. They don't like you driving people away. The mayor and other Blount County officials called faculty meetings at 21 schools prior to the May 6th primary election. These political discussion meetings were not voluntary attendance, a violation. By their own admission in recorded evidence, they clearly violated more than one TCA law by using their official positions, a violation, in attempting to educate the staff on the sales tax referendum, as well as addressing other political topics, such as refuting nearly $250 million debt, and inappropriate statements concerning more than one candidate for county commissioner without providing equal opportunity for opposing candidates or positions to present their case as prescribed by Tennessee state law. When the mayor addressed these allegations in the media, he stated that the county attorney had determined no laws were violated. Blatantly false. There is no such official position, county attorney, in the Blount County government. This man was the mayor's attorney and nothing more. It's entirely clear the mayor and other public servants involved in these and other horrific abuses of their oath of office that have recently come to light cannot effectively cope with the stress levels incurred when confronted with actual facts concerning their actions. If there was anything resembling justice regarding the political machine in Blount County, significant prosecutorial action would currently be underway, and in the obvious absence of such, if the mayor and other involved parties had any sense of scruples, they would resign their respective offices immediately. Thank you.
Name is Douglas Benton, District 2, Alcoa. Today is a sad day because one of the smartest, caring, concerned citizens of Blount County is no longer going to fight the machine of county commissioners. Mr. Fultz, you are one of the reasons I am here, and I sincerely thank you. I am 60 now, and I've watched our country hit the lowest, most disgusting point in our history. Being a Knoxville native and surviving 20 years in Los Angeles, and then 12 years ago moving to what I thought was Mayberry, USA, I quickly learned that this is far worse than the Chicago mob. Wake up, Blount County. How appropriate that is, because if we don't wake up, we're going to be paying more for the pathetic decisions this group of people make. The mayor should have said, wake up, Blount County, and get a memory. Do you remember the 2 wheel taxes they tried to pass? Remember the $543,000 that the mayor gave to the employees for no reason? Remember that each county employee pays $25 per month for a $925 medical plan that you pay for each month? And how about those property taxes? Wake up, Blount County, and grab a pen and paper and call the county trustee's office at 273-5900, and they will tell you how much you have paid in property taxes every year since 1987. The machine tells us the tax rate has not changed, but the assessment on your house has gone up. They think we're stupid. I'll tell you what my taxes have been in 10-year increments. The taxes for my property in 1990 were $827. In 2000, they were $1,358. 2010, they jumped to $1,807. 2011, they went to $1,904, and they stayed there for 2012 and 2013. I guarantee your taxes have gone up also. Call and find out, 273-5900. Wake up, Blount County, and find out how much Vaseline you're going to need when you get your tax bill in September. Being $241 million in debt from the 2013 Tennessee State Audit, and last year spending $4 million more than we brought in, our property taxes have to go up, and I predict they will. So to summarize, thank you, Mr. Jim Fultz. I just wish more commissioners had the cojones that you have. I think most of them got them cut off. Wake up, Blount County, and come to a commission meeting and watch the kangaroo court in session. I watch as my words go in one ear and out the other. And by the way, out of the 1,017 citizens that voted in District 2, I got 426 of them, and I only visited around 50 houses. I got lazy, overconfident, and stopped door knocking, and I apologize to those 426 voters. We wish we could have replaced every one of you. You people don't care how much money you spend because it's not yours. And by the way, I'm running for Alcoa City Commission, and if you live in Alcoa, I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Danny Gallion, District 3, is that right? I live in Jackson Hills, and I've lived here all my life. I was born over in the hospital over there. I appreciate all of y'all. Monica, are you leaving? Thank you for your service. Mark, thank you. Mr. Fultz, thank you. Mr. Kirby, I love you. I've known him all my life. I appreciate what you do on this commission. I appreciate what each and every one of you do. One person doesn't govern this county. I hate that there's acrimony. I want us all to get along and work together for the betterment of Blount County. I appreciate you letting me speak. I appreciate what each and every one of you do. I don't think it's kangaroo court. I do think you all are vested in this community, and I appreciate what you do. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Mary Cook, and I live in District 4, and I live at 3007 Old Whites Mill Road. I'm out in the far part of the county. But I want to tell Mr. Fultz that I'm very proud and I'm very thankful that you represent your constituents and the rest of Blount County in such a mannerly, truthful, intelligent manner. You let them know each month what is happening at the county commission. And we appreciate that because we people that live here do not know anything unless you come to the meetings. But Mr. Fultz has kept us all informed, and it's been a good learning experience because Mr. Fultz studies and he researches every article presented to him in the commission meetings. You go above and beyond your obligations to represent Blount County in a manner, as you certainly are aware, of being a conservative Republican who practices the Republican platform. And me being a no-sayer and an out-of-town person who moved here because of jobs, our family member was called here to work. We started having grandchildren. My husband retired, so we moved here to spend the love of our life with our grandchildren. Otherwise, I'd be in the county I came from, and I got along very well with everybody there, and I never was called a no-sayer before. But I am a conservative Republican. I believe in the platform of the Republican Party. Those who wander away are no longer Republicans. They're what we call rhinos. And I want you to know that the Republicans that we represent, we are proud of you because you have morals, ethics, and your integrity are way above your peers that you sit with on this commission. May God bless you and keep you safe as you continue to pilot your airplane around the country, carrying 6 children to a destination where their lives can be saved. Thank you.
Good evening. Commissioners, you know, most of you know me. I'm Amy Cowden. Let me say that, sorry, my first time speaking. I live in District 4, and I want to thank you for all of your hard work and your dedication that you do. I surely dislike the negativity that I hear day in and day out. Since we're quoting a little scripture tonight, Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." There's no reason for anger when we're dealing with the good things that Blount County has to offer. I know from my unique standpoint in the job that I'm blessed to do that you guys do an immense job. Your time is tasked. You, along with our elected officials, work very, very hard. I can tell you there's no political machine, but a lot of hardworking citizens who want to do what's right for Blount County. I live in District 4, and I can say that the citizens for Blount County do not speak for me.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. My name is Captain Jack Morgan. I'm in District 10 in Louisville. Wake up, Blount County, says my mayor in his July 4th editorial in the Daily Times newspaper. From the results of the recent Blount County primary election, it appears that Blount County electorate is finally waking up. When I look at today's Daily Times sample ballot for the upcoming general election, for which I will be voting in just a very few hours, like tomorrow morning. I may be one of the first ones there. I'm not a big line stander. But from my count in this, there are 13 current commissioners' names missing. Yes, no doubt, some of them have decided not to run. But those who voted in our previous primary election told some commissioners that they felt others could or would represent them better. My district commissioners cost themselves my vote. I telephoned each of them twice during their 4-year tenure, and neither bothered to return my phone call. One of my commissioners told me he understood why I feel the way I do. Where was his understanding when I sought his counsel? If those we elect to represent us choose not to communicate with us, Is it any wonder why we vote to replace them? On a different note, I thought I'd share a letter y'all may have received, same as I, from the man many of us voted to represent us at the national level. Most of us refer to him as Jimmy Duncan. The words in his letter which most caught my attention are, "I do not believe in spending money we do not have." Those words reminded me of my mayor, who said in his July 4th Daily Times editorial, "Nonetheless, we are adamant and determined to pay down this debt and incur no more." Will history regard that as political rhetoric, or will it be actually happen? Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, make
Good evening. My name is Patricia Nunberg, and I just recently moved to this area. And I did some studies, and I decided this is where I wanted to retire. And I come from Los Angeles. So, my question to all of you, and I guess to the mayor also, okay. Since our county, I believe, does have a debt that is kind of large for this small of a county, and with the current problems on the border, I think the county needs to have some kind of a resolution to declare to the rest of the country that we do not want to take in any more residents, illegal residents, to have to support because we cannot afford it. And I'm wondering, does the commission do that, or does the mayor do that? And what is your guys' thinking on something like that? Because there's cities that have been doing this, and I know counties can do it also. So my question is, are we going to try to state our position on the problems with the illegal immigrants? Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I'm a transplant from that great, I'm Tana Monroe, District 7, Greenback. I'm a transplant from that far away foreign place known as Kentucky, where the only difference is what color shirt you wear on Saturday to the ball game. And I sure would like to thank my commissioner, that Yankee, for coming down here and giving us a great dose of well-needed fiscal conservatism. You will be very missed. Thank you.
I'm Jamie Daly from District 10. The faces of this commission are changing soon. There will be some new faces appearing and some old ones leaving. As a citizen, I want to thank those that will be leaving for their service to this community and hope they will still be very active in our community. After everything that's been said today, I want to make one statement, and this is a quote. People with courage and character always seem sinister to the rest. Thank you.
Anyone else? Come forward, sir.
Oh, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Gallagher, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Joe Gallagher from the scenic town of Louisville. I want to congratulate you, and I was very impressed this evening when you honored Mr. John Keller, one of our community's outstanding individuals. But I thought how ironic it is that this group and the county has endorsed the extension of Pellissippi Parkway, which will virtually destroy his farm, and an extension that is totally unnecessary and will have the added advantage to the city of Knoxville of making it easier for our residents to get into Knoxville for their big ticket purchases and all the sales tax that will go to Knoxville instead of staying in Blount County. Secondly, I would like to add my good wishes to Commissioner Jim Foltz. This community, as our nation, is made up of Republicans and Democrats and many other flavors. But I speak as a Democrat, and I want to tell Commissioner Foltz that Democrats in Blount County admire you greatly, and you personally are my hero, and I thank you.
Mr. King, did I see your hand go up? Come forward, sir.
My turn. Again, my name is Dick Scott. Live in District 10. First thing I'd like to say, Mr. Chairman, you were absolutely correct in calling me out of order the last time I was up here. Okay? But now I guess under this order of business, I can say a few things. I moved here 15 years ago. I moved here because 2 years before I retired, I looked at every area of the country where it was a good place to raise my family, send my son to school, and I chose Blount County. I have never regretted that. It has been a great place to live, and I will live here the rest of my life. What I would really like to extend to all of the commissioners is I've been attending these meetings for 8 years. I am not one of these that just because they're running for office now and they decide after 8 years, I see them here for the first time. Where you been for 8 years? Okay. Where were you involved for 8 years? I'm sorry, I should have just addressed the chair. Couple of things I'd like to say. There's been a lot of talk about this commission voting for a wheel tax. Those that are saying that, you don't know what you're talking about. This commission voted to allow the people to vote whether they wanted it or not. The commission did not vote for it. That is what they're supposed to do whenever they have the opportunity, is let the people vote on the issue, not you folks. And that's exactly what you did. There was another comment made about Jim Duncan. Just a quick comment about him. I don't support him. And one of the reasons, just here recently, within the last month or so, he got up on the floor of the House of Representatives and said, now that the Iraq war is over, we've got a lot of money we can spend now. That's not conservative. That money should go to pay down the national debt, not to spend. And he's on television and on records having said that. I'll have one other thing to say. There's been a lot of people up here this evening commenting about
I'm Joe King from District 4. I want to thank you, Jim Folk, for being a beacon of light up here, the only one. You will be missed. Thank you.
Members of the Commission, my name is John Smaldone, District 8, and I've got laryngitis, so please bear with me. I've lived in Blount County now for a little over 24 years, and I've seen a lot happen, not only to Blount County, but obviously a lot happen in the world. Jim, I don't say good riddance to you, I say good luck to you. You've served, what, 4 years? 4 years. And everyone on this commission knows that it's a thankless job. All of you have really served your community. And I thank you for serving Blount County, as I thank everyone on this commission. I'm going to try and make it quick, but one of the things that I want to leave this room with and make it known is that there's going to be a new commission here in September. When I say a new commission, there's going to be a lot of new faces sitting up there. This country has gone through and is going through probably one of the most difficult times that it ever has been through and ever will go through. I could sit here and I can talk all night about what is probably going to be on the agenda for the future. And it's not pretty. And probably the biggest problem, believe it or not, that we have is lack of cooperation between American people, and especially lack of cooperation and harmony on top of the Hill. I hope when the new commission comes in that every one of you try and get along, work for Blount County and the people in Blount County. Every time there's disagreements or infighting that goes on, it's non-productive time. All you have to do is take a look at the administration that's in there now and what's happening with the Republican Party and the Democratic Party on the Hill. And I'm saying Republican Party and Democratic Party because they're both to blame. You've got to be very, very nonpartisan to make things work here. We may be small, but we can do an awful lot to make a difference. God bless all of you, and good luck to all of you. And thank you. God bless.
Phyllis Crest, District 4. I would be remiss tonight if I didn't thank Bill for all the hard work that he's done, and the whole committee that has went out and worked to make Blount County be a better place to work and live. We have an excellent group of people that work in payroll, and I'm going to say, I'm going to hate to see them leave, and it's going to be hard to replace them. But all of our staff that we have, we're very blessed here in Blount County, and I'm sure all the hours that the employees put in, I know mine come in before time because they want to have those windows open when the public is there at 8 o'clock. And it's after hours that when they get to leave, because by the time you shut down the computers and you balance and all that. So we have a great group of employees. And again, Bill, I wish we had tons of him. And I know he's moved in here from someplace else. And we have a lot of great people that have moved from out of state. And I know the mayor, it's been misconstrued on what he said, but we do, and we have a great place to live.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to read from CTAS document. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to read from CTAS reference documents number 126. State law also contains provisions protecting the rights of public employees in political activity under TCA 751-1501. Local government employees have the same rights as other citizens of Tennessee to run for public office and to participate in political activities as long as the employee is not on paid time. Now, I have TCA 751-1501. Notwithstanding the provisions of any county, municipal, metropolitan, or other local government charter to the contrary, and notwithstanding the provisions of any resolution or ordinance adopted by any such county, municipality, or other local government unit to the contrary, every employee of every such local governmental unit shall enjoy the same rights of other citizens of Tennessee to be a candidate for any state or local political office, the right to participate in political activities by supporting or opposing political parties, political candidates, and petitions to governmental entities. Now, that's written in TCA 751, as long as it's not on paid time. The meetings that were conducted at the schools that we've heard so much about were in the morning before 8 o'clock and in the evening after 3 o'clock. I was there at, I think, 17 out of the 21. Don't take my word for it. I believe we had about 800, 700 teachers and employees of the school. Go ask any one of them. Not just one, ask several. Thank you.